ETFs have been one of the biggest talking points since going all the way back to roughly 2023. I mean, listen, we've been hearing about ETFs almost every single year since, and it is because, listen, at the end of the day, these ETFs have been very substantial for the space. It provides us with a direct path to TradFi and the Web2 space, but it also allows us to build a path to, the next 100 million individuals because at the end of the day, a lot of people still don't trust crypto. They still don't want to touch these exchanges. They don't want to really touch these assets. So what allows people to get a little bit more comfortable with touching this space is by doing so through names that they can trust. AKA, they think about BlackRock. They say, all right, well, they have 10 trillion in assets under management. So, I should be able to trust them, right? So they immediately feel a lot safer, a lot more comfortable. And that's exactly why these ETFs are a very big piece of the much bigger picture to mass adoption. Now, when we think about ETFs, right now, the number one thing that people address is, all right, well, it's Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? They're the only two that actually have a ETF. But what about that big player, that big number 3, XRP? Well, we got some pretty big news about this, so welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So BlackRock, one of the biggest players out there, we know that this is the big name on the street, especially when it comes to ETFs, because they're the largest player when it comes to the Bitcoin ETFs. They've been very successful in providing a gateway to the retail sector, providing everyone access to Bitcoin, essentially, that wants it. Now, if we think about that, right, like how big has these ETFs been? Well, let's scroll down. Number one, we could see that in 2024, ETFs hit $35 billion. So that is pretty significant because we now have these major firms expecting Bitcoin ETFs to hit $70 billion this year. That's double from what was recorded in 2024. Now, again, a lot of people keep saying, well, these ETFs don't mean much at all. They haven't changed Bitcoin at all. They have propelled Bitcoin to 100K plus. Regardless of if Bitcoin was going to surge or not because of the bull run, you can't ignore what these ETFs did for Bitcoin. I mean, even right now, if we think about the Bitcoin tracker, okay, there is over $117 billion tied to these ETFs. The 24-hour trading volume has been over $2 billion. And even BlackRock sitting at number 1, they have over almost $7 billion in assets under management. That's insane to think about. And if you think about this number being very substantial, well, yeah, it is, because this is over 5.88% of the Bitcoin market cap. That is a massive amount. So these ETFs have been very, very significant since inception. And even today, they are still a big focus of Bitcoin's overall volume and just the value tied to it. But on top of the ETFs, right, it's not just the volume, the value, the users. It's the legitimization that Bitcoin now has because of these, big players offering these ETFs. So when we think about a XRP ETF, what does that mean for XRP? Well, it means the same exact thing. It means that XRP now has legitimization tied to it. It now means that anyone that didn't want to touch XRP through a crypto exchange because they didn't trust it or, they had any concerns, they can now do so through a trusted third-party player like BlackRock, Fidelity, Grayscale, or Bitwise, or any of these big players, right? That's why these ETFs around XRP are still a big focus from my point of view. Now, the big news on the street was Grayscale's XRP ETF, their 19B4 filing, has officially been posted to the Federal Register. All this means is that the clock starts now for the SEC Gov to engage in either approve or deny on or before October 18th. Now, you might be saying, well, Nick, that's a massive, massive time to wait for this. And although, yes, it is, but it could happen at any moment. They don't have to wait until October 18th. It could happen on or before. They have 240 days until they could actually do anything with this, right? That's their deadline. They have 240 days. After that, they have to do something, right? Like, it has to be on or before October 18th. No later. So the clock is ticking now. But this is just another step, right? It's one more step. When we think about these filings, we know how long it took for the Bitcoin ETF to get approved. But when it was at this point for the Bitcoin ETFs, the next phase happened very quick, which is why I keep saying, don't look at this and say, oh, well, we have to wait until, we have to wait from now to October 18th to see anything happen here. No, it can happen at any second. It can happen tomorrow. It can happen next week. It can happen next month. These ETFs for XRP are a ticking time bomb just waiting to go off and surge XRP the same exact way that it surged Bitcoin. Now, you might be saying, well, Nick, nobody cared about the Ethereum ETF. Let's think about this. Number one, okay, you have all of these big institutions now in this space, and they are ready for an XRP ETF. I'm going to share with you guys in this video on why they are ready. But also, XRP is the third largest crypto asset. It has flipped Ethereum in the past. I already shared with you guys the trading volume of XRP in previous videos. It's in the, multiple billions. In the last 30 days, it's well over 100 plus billion. These institutional players know how big XRP has become. So it's a no-brainer move for them to actually get these ETFs trading, especially at a time where they also know that the market is about to wake up in a big way. Now, from this announcement, though, we did see the ETF approval spike up a bit, 81%. It was actually up 11% since December 31st. So, if we think about this, a lot of people are ready for an XRP ETF to be approved. I am patiently waiting for these to be approved. And we already know that BlackRock from February 21st reported that they are restarting talks with companies following the SEC guidance. So now we have BlackRock starting to talk with and potentially meeting with crypto-based companies since the SEC started to flip. Now, if we think about this, let's go over here to this video. From XRP drops TikTok, BlackRock XRP ETF is inevitable. Now, this goes back a whole year ago when we saw this video clip, and it's still very important today. Check it out. 1 second.
ETF. How about an XRP ETF? I know you got Ether out there. How about XRP? Can you answer that?
I can't. And you don't want me to.
I do.
Well,
so he can't answer that. And this is because BlackRock has been preparing for an XRP ETF as well. And if anyone is going to say, well, that's just speculation, there's no way that they care about an XRP ETF, don't be stupid. BlackRock did not get to $10 trillion in assets under management because they're a dumb company. They know the opportunity here for XRP. They understand how big XRP is. This is a company that wants to make money. They know how much they could make off of the fees of an XRP ETF, which is why I also said back in October that, boom, the XRP ETF filing is now confirmed. Once the whales like BlackRock file the green light happens fast, because again, the second that they actually start to file, meaning once we have the big players like BlackRock or Fidelity or the big players file for an ETF, from that point on, the green light happens. We saw it with Bitcoin. We saw it with even Ethereum. Now, why do the institutional players want an XRP ETF, and why do we know that they want an XRP ETF? Well, here we have Wisdom Tree highlights XRP as the best performing large cap coin over the past year. Big shout out to Smoke Dog. Now, we know that Wisdom Tree does have an XRP ETF filing, but here we actually have performance single coins. Over the past year, XRP has outperformed its large cap peers. Here we have the 1 year single coin performance, and look at all of the big players in the big market cap region. I mean, XRP has outperformed it on the 1 month, the 3 month, the year to date, and even the 1 year. Across the board, XRP has been one of the biggest and one of the most successful, performing large cap players in this space, which is highlighting it for the institutional side. Which is why, when we go over here to this video clip, big shout out to Bank XRP, this is Bitwise's Matt Hugan talks XRP. He says there is substantial demand for an XRP ETF. XRP has had a sustained community for a long period of time. Now, again, mind you, Bitwise is not a small-time player. They are a big name in this space and in the institutional side of things. Even right now, if we go over here, Bitwise might not be number one, but they are the 6th largest Bitcoin ETF players on this list, with over almost $4 billion tied to this. Now let's go back over here to this video clip where we do have Matt talking about XRP and how substantial it is even for them. And this is on CNBC. Check it out.
Okay, one more thing before we go. We saw earlier this week that the SEC formally acknowledged Bitwise's application for spot XRP ETF. Now, I know you can't talk about the specific application, but I'm wondering if you can talk about what you've heard in terms of demand for an XRP ETF in particular. Obviously, there was less demand for an ETH ETF than a Bitcoin one, but there is increasing adoption. So what's the scope look like for an XRP fund?
Yeah, I would say two things on that front, without talking about the Bitwise filing specifically, as you mentioned. One, I think there's substantial demand for an XRP ETF. XRP has had a sustained community for an extremely long period of time. It's an asset that trades significantly on centralized exchanges. I think people would love to find a way to hold it in a simple, low cost, easy to use ETP structure. And I will say the second piece is the SEC is much more receptive to discussions under the new administration than they were in the past. In the previous administration, the door would simply be shut. There was no way to discuss things like staking or in-kind or maybe new assets. I think, and I can tell you that has completely changed. They're much more open to dialogue. So I'm optimistic we're going to see, XRP ETFs, Solana ETFs. I think the killer app in this space will actually be an index-based ETF. I think a lot of people want to just make a generalized bet on crypto, and I'm hopeful we get that at the end of this year as well. So count me as optimistic.
So again, these players are extremely bullish on what's about to happen in this space because of what we are now seeing from the SEC. I mean, every single discussion that we've been hearing around the SEC, around these ETFs, around this space has been very positive. So when we think about the landscape right now and the environment around the space, it's perfect for an XRP ETF to get the green light. It's perfect for the space to set, a massive all-time high, historical all-time high that overshadows the 2021 all-time highs. And when we think about XRP, we go back to the 2017, 2018 all-time highs in that, conversational piece, because we already know about 2021 and how it got stifled. But this is going to add so much fuel to the fire to allow XRP to really explode much higher because, again, of the trading volume, the amount of, hype around this. This is one big catalyst. And I do think that we are so close to actually having these ETFs greenlit and trading live. And from that point on, we are going to see a lot of focus put on XRP. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.